There was an early noon when Octavia was getting ready for her practice with her friends. They were going to have this normal practice which they usually have almost every day. But today she was going to have practice with some of her other friends. Since they were going to perform in Candelot within the next couple of days. And they wanted to be perfect in their performance. Even Vinyl has said once at early morning, "You always practice so much. You should be better. You shouldn't have to practice that so much every single day. You are good as you are." But Octavia has said that she wanted it to be as good as possible, even be try to be perfect as how much they can be. Because the more perfect they playing perfectly, more the paid they will have. Because one time, when one or two other their members of the orchestra were playing off key, and that meant that some of the customers didn't like that part, so they had to be paying almost 200 beds less they were promised. So from that moment, they always practice, even maybe from 4 to maybe 5 times per week. But this time, they was going to be performing for a noble society gathering in Canterlot. Even Vinyl has said, "You should probably doing solo per performance, which you normally do, but most time she practiced and imp perform with some of her friends. But today she wanted to be do some with friends. So around noon, Octavia went to see her friends, and they practiced as they normally do. And even after practice was over, Octavia went home, but Vinyl wasn't even there. Apparently, Vinyl had left their home to spend some time with some of their friends. So after Octavia put down her cello, she decided maybe go out and have some sort of lunch. And she actually ran into her friends Colgate and Roseluck. Both of them sat down at the local cafe just to have something to eat. Well, there they small talked about almost anything. Sometimes about their friendship, how they started being friends, and or just the most common things, the rumors that has been going on in town and outside town. Even for most time though, even Colgate and Roseluck, they were busy with their jobs, and even with their boyfriends. They had noticed though that Octavia, ever since she moved from Canterlot for about almost 5 years earlier, she has been lonely. At first she lived in a small apartment, or at least she rented a small place. But then she saw that Vinyl was renting out half of her house and she wanted some roommate. And when they started moving in together, Port City Town started thinking, what if they were. First, they thought they were just roommates, but then they saw that they spent a lot of time together, even talked together, almost most of the time. So they were the ponies that started making some rumors. What if Octavia and Vinyl were dating in secret and acting as just friends in public? But back home, they were in a couple. But both had denied that, even refused to even believe that any pony would even think like that. Of course, they may have some common interest and they're just friends living together, but that doesn't even mean they had to be a couple. And even Vinyl had even admitted that she has a boyfriend who lives in Maid Haddon by the name Neon Lights, who also is a DJ. And first many ponies didn't even believe that she thought about it. But after that, Neon Lights had been coming over to town a few times before then many ponies started to stop believing in the rumors that Vinyl and Octavia were dating. And after that rumors had just passed, Even Octavia then had often get asked by Colgate or Roselike if she had found her special pony yet. But Octavia always said no. They tried to put up on a date with some stallion friend they knew, who was probably looking for some pony. But even Octavia said that she didn't want to focus on any particular dating at the moment. But they tried to convince her, at least try to go on a date to see. And at first, Octavia said no, but they tried to convince her over and over. And Octavia realized they tried to get her on keep asking her if she doesn't say yes. So Octavia said yes to seek on a date with one of Roselack's friends. And after that, she actually went on a date. And he was pleasant, he was kind, sweet, honest, a gentle colt, but she didn't felt any sort of romantic connection to him. But the truth is, though, that Octavia wasn't even into stallions. She was only into mares. But she had kept this as a secret. Even for Vinyl, she didn't even know about it. She had only hoped that she could come to find a mare one day, and that hoping they could be together, but most of all, that their friends and family would accept it. Even both Roselike and Colgate actually had a few male friends who were actually had been dating a mare before. But she was very scared how they would react. That one of the closest friends they had known for so many years suddenly came out as lesbian. Even her family were completely unaware about this. Since she was the only child, she had no idea how her parents would react. But but now this day though, Roselike had asked her friend Octavia if she maybe wanted to try to go out on another date with some other friends of hers. But Octavia said blankly no. She was not interested in dating as she tried. And she even said to both of them, don't try to put me on a blind date or speed dating. I'm not interested in dating at the moment. And don't try to keep asking me for dating. I just want to focus on my career as performer at the moment. So they both agreed, but secretly though they tried to make me find a stallion. But Vinyl, by random chance, by hearing this, but they didn't see her, but she heard of this, and she told Octavia about it. And Octavia told her friends that she had found out that in both in secret they are looking for a stallion for her. And both were a big surprise, but they promised they would never do that. But Octavia said she had heard about it, and she asked them to drop the question for now, quietly. And both agreed. So after that, they didn't even bring that topic up anymore. But one day after this performance, when Roselike and Octavia were at the same cafe as before, suddenly, as they were small talked, Octavia noticed a mare in the distance. She looked at her, and Roselike tried to talk to her, but noticed that Octavia weren't listening. So she looked and saw the mare. Oh, you notice her? Yeah, who is she? I never seen her before. Oh, that's Lavender Harmony. She recently moved in here. Oh, where is she from? I believe she's from Baltimore. I think, said Roselike. When she saw her, she felt immediately that her heart was racing faster. After that, their meeting at the cafe, Octavia just walking around in town and ended up in a park. And then suddenly, some pony asked if she could sit down, And she said yes, but then she saw it was actually Lavender Harmony. Lavender Harmony were introducing herself, and after first they both just small talked about where they used random things. Octavia didn't ask what she thinks about Pony since she moved here, and Lavender Harmony said that she liked the town. It was a quiet small town. She preferred this town before than by living in Baltimore. Then Octavia did mention that she used to live in Canterlot before she moved here 5 years earlier. So they had something in common though. Even even for the most of the time when they used small talk, even that at the park. Octavia felt more romantically feelings towards this new pony she has never met before. And even after this particular day though, it happened that they ran into each other sometimes either at the market or the sugar corner, just small talked and but after some time though, they actually get to know each other even better and better and better. Even one morning, when Octavia was having breakfast with Vinyl, she asked Vinyl something. She asked, how would she react if she would like mares only? And Vinyl just sit there with her cup of tea and just looked at her friend and said, well, if you were into mares, I wouldn't even stop you. I mean, or you want to be happy with somebody as a mare, I would be happy. Are you into mares? She asked. And Octavia didn't say anything. She just blushed and just then nodded. Well, I'm happy for you. So, are you any particular interested in any mares? At first, of Octavia didn't say a word, which felt almost an eternity. But then she said Lavender Harmony, and Vinyl just couldn't believe it. Lavender Harmony? Really? And Octavia just nodded. Well, I cannot blame you though. She is a beautiful mare, I admit that. But I don't know. And Octavia asked why she said you said that. Well, I don't know if she is into mares because is she dating some pony? She asked. No, no, not like that. Just I don't know. I just never asked. Oh, yeah, but she is probably into mares or both. I don't know. Maybe if you can ask her. But Octavia said no. I I don't want to talk to her about that. Have you told any other pony about this? That you are into mirrors? Like your family? But Octavia said no. She hadn't even told him about it. So, how long have you been into mirrors? And Octavia said for about 2 years. And Octavia didn't say much after that. She left the house, just tried to walk around, tried to get some fresh air to clear her mind, tried to figure out how to even figure out what to do. Even Vinyl said that she should just at least try to ask her for something. Even though that Octavia wanted to tell Lavender Harmony. When she just walked around, she didn't even notice where she ended up. And that was actually at the park. So she sat down on a bench, just looked around, didn't see much many ponies there. And still it was early in the noon in early noon, so but then suddenly she heard a voice. She immediately recognized it as Lavender Harmony. She looked around, and true enough, it was her. She sat down, and they small talked again, but then suddenly, Octavia then just took enough courage to ask her if she was dating some pony. since she had seen her since she moved in, on if she had any boyfriend who lives in town or maybe outside town. But Lavender Harmony said that she wasn't even to didn't had a boyfriend. In fact, she was only into mares, and that was one of the few reasons why she moved to Ponyville, because her family was actually accepted her lifestyle. But she even actually had a girlfriend who lived also in Baltimore, until she found out she was been cheating on her with a stallion behind her back for almost 2 months after she found out. And that was the most main reason why Lavender Harmony decided to move. She couldn't stand to see her ex-girlfriend by even from across the street or even just see her picture. She decided just to leave town for good, or at least get as much far away from her ex-girlfriend as possible. And Lavender Harmony then asked why she just broke that up. And Octavia then admitted that she also was into mares and she had a crush on her for about since a few weeks now. And that surprised even her. And both actually decided maybe it was they could try to maybe dating or if she wanted to. And Octavia said yes. So over the course of time though, over a few past few weeks after that, they actually became a dating couple. As Vinyl said that she was just happy for her. Seeing how happy Octavia were made her happy. And surprisingly, all her friends in town were actually open accepted it. And since there were a few couples in town who were dating another mayor. And after they'd been dating for about a month, Octavia was asked by Lavender Harmony if they were going to see her family in Canada. That made her very much terrified. Her family was still unaware about her lifestyle and that she was dating a mayor. She was terrified at how they would react, like if they were going to cast her out of her family, disown her from the will, everything. But with Lavender Harmony's convincing, at least they should go see and tell her, because if they don't, they might find out the same way. And Octavia then realized that she had a point. If they didn't tell her parents right away herself, it might be possible that some of the rumors, some of their friends in town might talking about it in Canada, and that their family might hear about it, and they will probably react in a bad way. So they decided to go to the Canterlot the next day. But on their way to train, Lavender Harmony was just calm, feeling happy that she'd meet her girlfriend's parents for the first time. But at the same time, Octavia, even she looked calm, acted calm, but deep inside she was just screaming of terrified. She just wanted to just jump out of the window and ran back home and never see her parents ever again. Even she knew that they would probably not want to see her anymore, but she didn't. As they expected, her parents were home. They were surprised to see that daughter was being there and as with a mayor. They thought maybe she was as a colleague to her or a coworker. So they had tea together and they small talked. At first they small talked about maybe for things and they asked us some things about Lavender Harmony's past, where she's from, what her parents are doing, what she's doing for a living. But when Octavia then asked her parents if how would they react if they had a daughter who was only into mares, for example, both her parents just looked at each other a bit surprised and about the question, because this was never they expect, never heard from the daughter. But her mother said that she was just if she was into mares, she would just be open about it, and she was proud of it. having a daughter who is open and proud what she believes in. Then Octavia admits to her parents that in fact she were lesbian. And even her parents were actually didn't surprise by it, since how much they since they saw how much Octavia been looking at Lavender Harmony during time, from time to time and during this meeting. But they just said that they were hope, proud, and just happy to have their daughter seem being happy. And surprising that, she was just feeling happy afterwards, because on her way back home, Octavia felt happy in years. Not only that she had a girlfriend with her, and that the friends were supportive, but most of all, that her parents were supportive to her lifestyle. And that made her heart even relief. But the next step in their relationship was actually going to see Lavender Harmony's parents, which made her a little bit nervous how they would react. Even they were proud of her being a lesbian. But Octavia assured her that everything will be fine. And since Lavender Harmony were ensuring her when she met Octavia's parents that they would be fine. And and at first they were a little bit skeptical, or at least curious to know more about Octavia when they revealed it, but they were open. But there's one thing that happened when they were in Baltimore. When they were just walking around in town the day before they was go back home, they ran into some pony that Lavender Harmony wished they didn't had run into, and that was her cheating ex-girlfriend. She was dating this particular stallion that she was cheating with, but even when they saw her, her ex-girlfriend tried to talk to her, but Lavender Harmony just blocked her out, just looked away and keep walking. And Octavia just said, "Was that her?" And Lavender Harmony just nodded, "You're strong. Don't listen to her. Don't talk to her if you don't want to." And it was right. Meaning after that meeting, they never saw her ever again, which Lavender Harmony were proud of to hear. But after some time, something did happen. She started getting some mail, but it wasn't from her ex-girlfriend. It was actually for her mother. It turns out that her father was in an accident at work, and that she wanted to be there It was nothing serious, so that she said he had broken two of his legs and that her mother was working a lot. And she could really take care of about Lavender Harmony's father during the time. So Lavender Harmony had offered her a chance to be there to take care of her father during the time. Even her mother said that no, you should try to be there. You try to make a focus on your work in Ponyville. But as Lavender Harmony was but stubborn, she didn't listen. She wanted to be there for her parents, especially for her father. And of course, her mother luckily then agreed. But over time, as when she was there, Octavia took care of her things back home, and everything was just going well between them. After her father was repaired, was back to health again, something did happen between Octavia and Lavender Harmony. After they'd only been dating for about almost a few months, Lavender Harmony had asked Octavia if she wanted to move in with her. But there was just one small problem. Lavender Harmony lived in one room apartment, and there was enough room for them both. But luckily for Octavia, she had enough money enough since her family was wealthy back in Canada. They had another small apartment in town which has two bedrooms, and it was just enough for them. And even moving in together so soon, were some of their friends were a little bit skeptical, thinking they're moving too fast. But Octavia didn't listen. She thought that this gonna work out, and at first, in the first few weeks when they moved in together, there were a small arguments where how were things going to be placed, like were some pictures on the walls going to be, or where the kitchens were going to look like, and where the beds to be standing, sort of things. But they always worked it out. And even though that Octavia sometimes wasn't even home, it happened that she was away from Ponyville for almost a few days at a time when she was performing with some friends or solo performance. But Lavender Harmony always knows that Octavia will be back home. And of course, it did happen. But even though that her families were both happy for them both, Octavia had asked Lavender Harmony, what about if they try to bring both families together for some sort of family reunion, or at least a family meeting, so they both families get to know each other. Lavender Harmony thought that was a good idea, and they had even asked both the families, and they both agreed. So within the next week, they actually met in Canterlot, and there it was a big meeting. Both parents are happy to at least get to know each other better, need to meet each other, but most of all that, both the families were just happy to see how happy their daughters were together. Even Lavender Harmony's mother had asked, so, when is the wedding going to happen? And will you have any grandchildren? That was something both were a little bit surprised to even hear, but even Lavender Harmony had actually mentioned this to Octavia on the way there, that her mother might do this, asking these questions. But they said that they might maybe do this, maybe get married at some point in maybe in a few years when they get ready, since they had been already dating for less than almost a year. And both the parents did actually agree on that. But they didn't push or force them into considering get married so soon, because if they did, something might get it there. They would probably end up their marriage would end up in a divorce or something, which the both families didn't want to. And after the first meeting with the both families went well, they both decided maybe it was time to maybe think about having a family of their own one day. But Lavender Harmony said she wanted to wait at least a couple of years. So 4 years later, Lavender Harmony actually did bring with Octavia to the park in Ponyville and proposed to her. And that was something that Octavia didn't expect to happen. But she was just happy that she had been asked the question. And Octavia, she was just happy. And on the wedding though, Vinyl were asked to be Octavia's bridesmaids, and even Fluttershy to be Lavender Harmony's, since she was a good friend of Fluttershy at the time. And even during after this, they even went to a tropical island for a whole week for a honeymoon. And about 2 years after they'd been married though, they wanted to start a family then. They asked Twilight for help, and she was gladly to help. At first, Lavender Harmony, she wanted to be a mother first, and in fact, she actually had a baby daughter only a few months later. But when the daughter was about 2 years old, Octavia wanted to be a mother, and she had a son. But when their son was about 4 years, they had another daughter, which Octavia had, and that's how Octavia, Melody, and Lavender Harmony, or the true love, got a big family. The end.